So it's start. So hello everyone. My name is Kishana Bell, the president of the Faculty of Engineering and Applied Technology Student Committee at the Caribbean Maritime University. And I just want to take this time to just welcome everyone to our first episode of the series from an industry perspective week, IGTV series, right? So today we have Mr. Andrew Murray, right? And the idea behind this series is just to enlighten engineers as myself, prospective, as well as graduates who are without a job, because that's the reality of some, right? To just encourage them and enlighten them as to how to proceed into getting industry jobs and how to manage themselves when they do land that job, right? So now I'm just going to ask Mr. Murray to just give a brief description of himself, right? His name, the university he graduated from, and the position he currently holds at the company he works. So, Mr. Murray.
All right, thanks for that introduction. As you said, my name is Andre Murray. I'm a past student of the Caribbean Maritime University. I studied industrial systems engineering. Currently, I work with the Jamaica Public Service Company as an operations and maintenance officer for their renewable energy department.
All right, awesome. Thank you. So, how long have you been working at JPS?
Well, I graduated in 2016, and immediately after graduating, I was invited to participate in an internship program. Well, I did an interview for that internship spot, got accepted, and the internship was an engineering internship program. It was supposed to last 12 months. Then after about 5 months or so, I got my first job offer at the company as a protection and control technician for the system protection arm of the company. Right. So after working in system protection for about 6 months or so, I got another opportunity to join the renewable energy department as a operations and safety coordinator. Um, while I was working there, the company was going through a transition in terms of introducing asset management, enterprise asset management program to facilitate the maintenance of all its generating assets. And so I was the person for the renewables team. So after, leading that project successfully, I was afforded the opportunity to add the maintenance planning function to my portfolio. So I'm currently working as a operation and maintenance officer within that department, basically responsible for leading a small team and also coordinating activities such as outages, capital projects, etc. for that department.
All right, interesting. You said you entered JPS on an internship. Could you expose what it was like during that time?
So during the internship program, entering into a big organization, certainly as a newbie, of certain expectations, because you would have been exposed to certain myths out there. So I was a bit apprehensive on day one, but I just gave a story. When I went in on the first day, I had on a dress shirt with tie, and I entered into the as I met with the manager. The manager said, "Before we start, lose the tie." So I think that was a testament to the culture at that specific department. And culture as a young engineer, when you enter an organization, though you would have been subjected to, the different stories and myths, you really have to go in with an open mind, and treat every situation or approach it differently. Just go in with a customized approach and try to you get put in a situation, try to understand the department, understand the culture, and definitely do not enter into a situation with any preconceived notions or any mindset. You understand?
Yeah.
Right. So you have to just enter with an open mind, try to learn the department, try to learn the organization, understand the culture. You just take that approach, and I think you should be all right in terms of your start off.
All right, understood. So currently, you say you manage a team. How is it like being the leader of a group of people?
You know, one of the things that I was afraid of entering into that leadership role was certainly not managing people, because not having experience, you wouldn't, you just assume people will more or less conform, and will work with the program. But my major scare was surrounding the technical aspects of the job, you know. So when I got into it and I realized that, hey, machines are machines. They are more or less linear. You put in X, you get out Y. And that's it.
Yeah.
You just need to learn it one time, and once you learn it, that's it. On the other hand, is not so linear.
Indeed, very dynamic.
And certainly when you're leading a team, you have to have a customized approach for each individual. You have to understand that at the end of the day, they are human beings. Human beings have emotions. And so separate and apart from the job, it is certainly beneficial if your leader develop a relationship with his direct reports. You find that when you have a relationship with them, and they will open up to you, you will better understand them. Because you will have for instance, you'll have a worker who is exemplary, and then one day you're not performing so good, and having had that opportunity to rap with him and understand the individual, the leader would pick up that something is wrong, and so you would want to have more of a, instead of a professional interaction with him, more of a human or social interaction with that person to kind of what is going on, so that's definitely the benefit, or what I've learned from leading people, is that they are non-linear. You really need a customized approach as to how you deal with them. You have to be empathetic.
Indeed.
Certainly.
All right. Sounds good. So describe like a regular day in your job.
A regular day. Well, in my department, we manage hydroelectric power stations, one wind turbine, a 3 megawatt wind turbine facility in St. Elizabeth. The day-to-day on the job basically entails, first of all, meetings. You have to attend a lot of meetings. On days when I don't have a lot of meetings, find myself out in the operations, interacting with the individual, and as I said before, developing a
more human relationship.
Right, a human relationship with them. One of the things about being a leader is that you have to be present, and you have to certainly make the team feel your presence on the ground. So I try as best as possible to, be present out in the field. So, just to let them know that whatever challenge you're going through, we are going through it together as a team. I mean, you find that above all the technical expertise that you can gain on the job, the people skills, specifically when you're in a leadership role, can be the difference in success and failure.
Indeed. So prior to working at GPS, did you have any other internship opportunities before graduating, before entering GPS, or gonna speak on that?
So I, when I graduated, in fact, I was at JPS before I graduated. So as soon as I think we had completed the course, graduation was in November of 2016. We completed the course
Yeah.
in April thereabout. And so from that time, I was already in engagement with JPS.
Mhm.
A month prior to that, there was a function held at the Caribbean Maritime University by the engineering club. And it the function was geared towards inviting industry professionals to the university
Yeah.
to expose engineering students to actual, what I call a professional interview. So it was like
So something.
it was like aim was to simulate that sort of
Mhm.
thing. And so it was out of that program that I was contacted by JPS HR
Yeah.
and was afforded the opportunity to do another interview to be a part of the internship program. So
So you've been at JPS
I
since 2016.
yes, I've been there since 2016. So before I even
So
university, I was a part of JPS, basically.
so basically 5 years.
Yes, 5 years.
So, so how has it been? I mean, you've been seasoned in the company. How has it been working for JPS?
It's good, I mean, with any organization, you expect that you will have challenges. I mean, that's sort of why we do engineering. We love the challenge. And
Yeah.
since I've been there have been a lot of changes in terms of the introduction of new technologies. And so,
Yeah.
young person, and you enter in an environment where you have so much change is exciting. Um, what you do have to deal with from time to time, however, is that if ever you are put in a position where you have to be the lead person for any of these, transformation initiatives, certainly you will have a challenge in terms of, handling the more mature individuals who are not ready for change, you know. So that's one of the challenges certainly to look out for as a young engineer, especially
Mhm.
when you get put in the position to lead a project. And so
Indeed.
you have to develop the skill, as I said, the people skill, very important. You have to find a way now to convince those persons who are not interested in change, right? You have to show them that, yes, this thing is benefit and communicate to them from the standpoint, not only to highlight the benefit to the organization, but also to highlight the benefit to them and how it can make their life and their jobs easier.
Mhm. All right. So you mentioned trying to encourage them to adapt to the change. But when you're faced with a situation that they don't want to, and they might say, yo, we don't want to do this, we don't want to do that. How do you maneuver such reluctance?
As I said before, the best approach to take is to convince them, rather demonstrate,
Mm,
demonstrate to them that it
mm,
will make life easier. Just imagine put yourself in their position. So you're
yeah,
an engineer, right? Let's say asset management engineer for argument's sake. And let's
mm,
say you're required on a weekly basis to generate reports on your assets. And let me
mm,
just process. Let's say previously the way how things was done was that technicians would go to the power stations or the manufacturing facility or whatever it may be and record
yeah,
information on paper. And then at the end of the
mm,
month was that senior engineer now have to review stacks and stacks of paper, convert that
yeah,
information hard to soft. Nobody wants to do that. So look,
indeed.
so let's say now you're required to implement a system. For example, a CMMS, that's a computerized maintenance management systems where technicians will go into the field and record information digitally.
Yeah,
are in an electronic space, and you know, at the click of a mouse can generate a report.
Just access the information,
Right. And so that tedious process that you used to experience, where you'd have to sit down at your desk about 5 to 8 hours to generate a single, you can now do that in a matter of seconds. I don't believe you communicate that clearly to an individual who has to go through that painful 5 to 8 hours to generate a single report. Would I think if you demonstrate that clearly to him, I think he would definitely probably from being a hurdle enabler in that process.
All right, understood. So you mentioned
how you communicate the benefit to them, you know?
Indeed. So you mentioned some technological transformation, implementation initiatives. So be at JPS over the 5 years, what have you contributed to make systems easier, protocols, processes easier?
Right. So I recently made mention to the CMMS system. So that's one of the first initiatives that I was a part of. So that CMMS system was basically geared towards making improving the maintenance program that is currently at all the generating facilities in JPS. So I was the team lead for the JPS Renewables. In terms of other improvement projects, the project I was a part of was a project that we did to improve or to reduce customer outages due to transient faults on the distribution network. So that was the name of that project was the single pole tripping project. So in the distribution network, you have devices known as feeder reclosers, and these are 3-phase devices. And so you would have customers connected on all 3 phases. So previously, that's prior to the project, when you have a single phase, you would lose 100% of customers. Since that upgrade, the purpose of that upgrade now, that single pole tripping, it basically facilitated tripping of a single phase in the event of a single phase fault. And so you would reduce our customer outage by 67%. Instead of losing customers on all 3 phases, you'd only lose the customers that is connected to a single phase. Also, after that project, I did another project that included the installation of that circuit breaker at a facility in St. Anne, that's a Bellevue substation. That's another project I was a part of. And, in terms of improvement to the organization, certainly that project was geared towards reliability from a transmission perspective. And the goal of that is to, again, reduce customer outages. So that's 2 projects that I've been a part of since being at JPS.
What you say, like, I don't know, big sir. I love that. Whoa, but that's amazing. Right? So, all right, 5 years. 5 years you've been seasoned in the industry. So prior to entering the industry, were there any myths that you heard? And then when you enter the industry, did it confirm the myths or was it a lie? Say so. Or
one of the myths that you used to is that the more mature persons out there will not be welcoming, or there will be some sort of reluctance as it pertains to the younger generation of engineers. What I'll tell you about that is that it is not 100% correct. Different organizations will have a different culture. And for larger organizations, you might find that you have a different culture depending on the department. So in the opening statement, I said that it is best to enter into any organization with an open mind. Just enter with an open mind. There is you will have instances where you may encounter that, but as I said, it's not 100% true.
All right.
Experience, certainly never experienced anything like that. Luckily, I don't know. Probably you have persons out there who have had an experience like that, but luckily for me, in my 5 years with the Jamaica Public Service, I've never encountered any such reluctance as it pertains to accepting new talents.
All right. So in the industry now, so what are some things that you wish you knew before entering? It could be re-engineering lines, could be people management, it could be anything. Budgeting, it could be as simple and it could be as hard. So
I think depending on it is good that at this stage, when you're in university, you start getting experience. So for instance, for a first year student, I'd recommend, during the summer period, it would definitely be beneficial to go out there and do some, what I call meaningful internship programs geared specifically towards the field that you are interested in. I was fortunate to have had the opportunity to join the JPS family straight out of university, but I know a person who, after leaving college, for jobs and were not successful because of a lack of experience. And so one would ask the question, so you need a job to get experience, then you need experience to get because how does so just to avoid that sort of thing, I would recommend that as early as possible, try to get some meaningful experience from enter into college. So you have to effectively utilize the summer holidays. Don't just go to the beach.
all right, understood. So what are some tips you would give students who are probably have an interview coming up, scheduling interviews, or just need to know how to approach interviews? What are some tips you would give them?
For interviews, it is paramount. It is of paramount importance that you know about the organization that you're going to join. You have to know the organization. That's the first thing, right? The second is that you have to sort of align yourself with the goals of the organization. The aim of the interview is to prove to the interviewer that your skills and abilities, right, can contribute to the business success of the organization. And so when you're going into an interview, aim as best as possible to answer that question, because that is, at a high level, that is really what the interview is about. Another thing with interviews, when person asks you about yourself, right? It's not.
Yeah, I was going to ask you. how do you adequately answer a question like that? Tell me about yourself.
You answer that question from a professional standpoint. So you give them a professional history and not a personal history. My name is XYZ. My professional career began at XYZ company. I've been working with that company for X years in this position, and in that position, this is what I've been doing. And what I've been doing can contribute to your organization in this way. So that's how you want to structure your answer to that question.
So we're supposed to say, I am a very kind, loving,
no,
I am determined, dedicated, committed.
No, that's a, that's a no. So for persons coming out of college, for instance, persons at university would not have had any professional experience. So the best way to answer that question is to worse if you never utilize the summers effectively in terms of getting internship experience. You can use different things that you did while you were at university that is relevant to the job. So if you for
So like
instance,
the courses that we did.
engineering club, and so you would have, for instance, coordinating this type of session, you know. So these are things you club, and you no, sometimes you may in a club, and the club probably have certain projects. When I was at CMU, I was a part of the Renewable Energy Club, and one of the things that was to go out and we do like beach cleanups and stuff like that. Things like those. Final project. So you go about executing a final project, as that in a sense requires some level of project management skill if it is done well. So you can sell that as well. You know, relevant courses and they got in those courses may be useful as well. You know, so you have to just find things that you have done during your time at the university, things that
will sell you in the interview. Well,
right.
Marketing well.
Right. And the best approach in terms of highlighting those skills is always remember to mention how it aligns with the position that you're applying for, as alignment is very important.
Okay. All right. Noted. Interesting. All right. So, do you enjoy what you're doing currently? Do you enjoy your job? When you wake up in the morning, you're enthused to go to work and say, yeah.
Definitely. It's a blessing.
You do? You do?
Of
Wow.
course. What I will say is that, you know, to younger engineers, that you have to try to identify a field that you're passionate about, you know. And once you identify that, just put your all into it. If you make decisions because I would say material gains, then you might be in a position where you're not happy. And if you're not happy, if you're not enjoying the job, then chances are you won't perform at your best. So certainly you have to find a field that you enjoy, that you love, and trust me, once you do that, you won't work a day in your life.
Indeed.
You know?
So what are some skills or knowledge that you realize that were a requirement upon entering industry? That wasn't taught in schools.
Wow, that wasn't taught in schools. Well, let me say this. You're talking from an engineering perspective?
Can be both.
So, all right, so one of the weaknesses that I had when I just entered the organization is that communication and how you communicate to different people at different levels. For instance, let's say you come up with a bright idea, you know, an idea that you think can improve the performance of your facility. The way you communicate that idea to an engineer versus how you communicate it with, say, a financial manager, it can't be the same. You know, so don't just gear yourself towards an engineer and just put yourself in a box. You have to be versatile and try
more dynamic.
More dynamic. Definitely have to try and learn other skills. As you know, a financial manager understand the engineering jargons and terminologies, you know, and so you have to be able to speak his language. His main interest is in financial benefits to the organization, and so you have to find a way now to convert your bright ideas into that kind of language so that he can appreciate it the way another engineer would. So that's one of the the skill that I think will help if we understand, how to communicate with different persons that are not necessarily within the engineering realm.
All right, noted.
Useful skill. And also, you might have the title electrical engineer. It don't hurt if you know mechanical, if you know electronics, if you know, you understand? Don't just be close to yourself. Try always to learn new skills. Technology is always changing. And so, for instance, what I would have learned in college 5 years ago, some of the different systems and so that you would have been exposed to may not be current.
Yeah.
You follow me?
All right, understand.
Definitely important, engineer, to just keep yourself abreast in terms of the new technologies that are coming out and try to stay one step ahead of the game.
Indeed. So, do you have like a master's? They're going for a PhD, or they have any
Yes.
short courses in other from the degree?
Yes, I do. So in 2018, I did a master's degree in engineering management at the Florida International University. Other certifications I did. I'm currently a member of the Toastmasters Club. So
Yeah.
Toastmaster International. So Toastmasters have a number of pathways program that is basically geared to, personal and professional development. So I'm currently holding the leadership development pathway. Now, thus far completed 2 levels of that. So I currently have a certification in leadership development from Toastmasters International. I also have a certification from Siemens PTI. Siemens is a German engineering company, so I did a power system certificate with them about 2 years ago while I was doing masters with FI. So yes, I have been.
So would you recommend? Yeah, I'm listening.
Oh, you can go ahead. Would I recommend?
You're saying something. You're saying something.
No, man, you can go ahead.
You have so I was asking if would you recommend students to just go as they get the degree, go into their masters or work first, then what would you recommend?
It depends on the individual goals of those persons. I found that it may be more valuable to do certifications. So, for example, PMP, those who are interested in management, the CMRP, that's Certified Maintenance and Reliability Professional, the Six Sigma qualification, things like that are maybe in specific areas that the person might be interested in, So I found that certification to some extent have, not to say that the masters don't have value, because you have people who ask for master's degree for positions, but I think, in my opinion, or from my experience, I think the certificates, those certifications courses will prove to be more valuable in terms of professional growth and development.
All right. Noted. Love this conversation. Right, so we're about to wrap up this interview. So to just close, do you have any encouraging words for prospective engineers and, as I said initially, graduates who are currently without a job?
Encouraging words. Just to be patient. Sometimes we tend to want things to happen overnight,
Yeah.
Realize that perfection takes time, So for those persons currently in college, try to be as proactive as possible. Try to acquire the requisite knowledge, requisite skills, and put yourself in at the time you get to fourth year, you will be in a situation where your ability to land or secure your dream job will certainly be easier. when you enter into a new situation, regardless of what it is, you will always have challenges, you know. But that's why we did engineering, you know, because we love challenges. And so always approach challenges with an open mind and be positive, you know, and as long as you maintain that positive attitude, you know, things will always work out.
Thank you. Thank you again for participating, Mr. Murray. Thank you for sharing
Thanks
your
for
experiences.
thanks
Thank
for
you
the
for sharing your
invitation.
experience. You're welcome. Experiences and tips. You know, just thank you for being present. Thank you for being a testament of engineering student, engineering graduate. Right. So, guys, I hope you felt enlightened after this interview. Right. And stay tuned for tomorrow with our next guest. Oh, Mr. Murray, I hope I can share this. I hope I can share this. I see my next screen. No, no, come on.
Yeah, I'm seeing the screen.
All right. So, on behalf of the Faculty of Engineering and Applied Technology Student Committee, you know what, to present you this virtual certificate of participation. And we are very grateful for your contribution in this event. So,
Thanks.
yeah,
Thanks for the
thank
invitation.
you.
And I'm glad I could assist.
Yeah, so that's it. Stay tuned, and it will be uploaded today. I think I could not this, but it will be uploaded later today. So ensure that you follow the IV page and share it. So thank you again.
Definitely.
That's
Will
it.
do. Yeah, man. All right.
Yeah.